that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back in time, Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, come keep with the show. It's a new era, let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, when you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back in time, Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, come keep with the show. It's a new era, let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, when you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back in time, Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, come keep with the show. It's a new era, let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, when you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back in time, Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, come keep with the show. It's a new era, let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, when you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back in time, Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9, come keep with the show. It's a new era, let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9, it's Tingle and Co. about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9. Come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9. It's Tingle and Co.
All right, good morning and welcome to Tingle and Co. here on this Tuesday morning. Sorry about the tad bit of delay, as Wesley says. Can we change the 7 to 9 part to 7:15 to 8:45? First off, 8:45 is 1,000% a lot. If we go over and past 9 a.m. most mornings.
Yeah, that was the old era. This is the new era.
We do start a little behind.
We like to let people settle in.
Of course.
You know, get your coffee.
And at times, I'm uploading Frank Wilson clips into the Google Drive folder, and I need to continue to get that wrapped up before we kick off. But I appreciate everybody getting in here this morning and joining us on this Tuesday morning as we roll through what is Alabama week, one of my favorite weeks of the year, as we get to prepare for a football game that seems to deliver majority of the time. Now, whether that means LSU wins or loses,
That's to be decided on the field.
that's to be decided on Saturday. The week is always fun to reminisce over past Alabama games, but to also think about what's ahead. But Lloyd, Christian, good morning,
and
sirs.
that's the thing, right? As we reminisce, they're like, oh man, there's like one or two or three that you could pick. They're like, we got 18 of them.
It doesn't really, it's not the same reminiscing for them.
No.
We're like, what do you think about like some of your favorite games in your memory of your life? Like 3 of my top 5 are 2011 Alabama, 2019 Alabama, 2022. The 3 times we've beaten Alabama since the start of 2010. There's
a reason that we remember them and they remember them, because it doesn't happen all that often.
And it usually takes something special, like a 9-6 win. What was it, like 46-41, and then an overtime 32-31.
Go for 2.
Takes a lot. But appreciate everybody getting into this morning. Christian, good morning to you.
Good morning. I was going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay.
There you go.
Feeling like an idiot early.
There you go. Off to a strong start here.
7:12 already done. Haven't examined an hour and a half.
What exam?
So 2 hours, actually. Mass media law.
Mass media law.
In the know.
I have my methods. I haven't studied too much, but I have my methods.
Okay. Interesting.
So.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if your teacher listens or.
Nope, and we're not going to get into it either.
Yeah, the method of studying.
Yeah.
Oh, just clutch
Last
up.
second, of course.
Yeah, just clutch.
Yeah, you got to clutch up.
Mm-hmm.
You got to, what do they say? Pressure burst pipes?
Yes.
Or makes
Or
diamonds.
makes diamonds. What are you going to be?
Probably a pipe, I mean, let's be honest.
You're going to
Are
get
they
piped?
going to be a diamond? Hell no. I'm a pipe.
Nice.
I give that pipe. Lay that pipe.
7:15 in the morning. That's how you get your day started right there. We appreciate all of you getting in here this morning. Obviously, Frank Wilson met with the media yesterday, and we will play some of the sound from that as I went to the press conference yesterday. And I will say one thing, is Frank Wilson is a pretty impressive speaker. Like, he gets up there, and it's one, you can tell he like actually, not that other coaches don't know what they're talking about, but he invests the time and the intent into everything he speaks about, especially recruiting. Listen to him talk about recruiting is like, I don't even know what to compare it to.
That's the lifeblood.
But like
it's like a if you talk to like a zoologist, it's like you know everything about
Right.
about anything that we talk about. Like it could be a mammal, it could be amphibians. It's just he has his that's his passion. When somebody's passionate about something, it might be
Right.
It's just right in his honey hole.
And listen to him talk about recruiting. I'm like, I mean, it's like watching like a master at his craft. Like literally, like he. And one of the clips will play it, but he talks about the process during this uncertain time, getting ready for signing day, which is only 30 days away. And he said, he was like, well, you got to, people are going to try and step in and speak for LSU. Like, no, you get a direct line to the source so there's no confusion. I was like, Bingo. Sounds about right to me. So shout out to Frank. I enjoy sitting, listening to his press conference. I enjoy cutting clips of his press conference much more than I have in the past with others. And as we walk out of the building yesterday, Bonnet and Wilson walk out. Verge Osbury comes up. Him and Frank see one another.
Crispy.
Crisp, dap up. They hug it out. And I was like, it looks like alignment to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's two guys that are, and we had this conversation a little bit last night, where it's two guys that, who else would you want to step up into these roles with the clear distinction of, because Mikey was making the push for Verge to be athletics director, and I was like, I just don't know if that's really the case. I'll look at it the same way I look at Frank being the head coach. It's two guys that have been at LSU forever, love the university as much as you can, and while you can make the case, like, well, shouldn't that be who's in charge? Like, if they have the best of the university at heart, it's almost like you have to take longevity over the opportunity and to keep them around, because when people get fired, they don't get to come back. And I posed the question of, if Frank were to, let's say, run the table, go undefeated.
Right.
And how many times have you seen a coach, an interim head coach, step down and stay on the football team that wasn't hired to be the head coach? Like, it just doesn't happen all that often.
Right. No, I mean, the word I think I used the other day was you become expendable when you're the head.
That's the perfect word for it.
Right, the blame falls on you, and so you would look at like Frank, and I'm not saying Frank wouldn't step back and take but like we talk about with like precedent, obviously is something that weighs heavily. Like that you don't see that ever. The guy that's the head coach doesn't say, you know what,
back to
I'll be a position coach, a recruiting coordinator,
associate head coach,
right, and somebody, it doesn't happen, and so.
But you're expecting it to.
Right. And so I think that the safest bet for LSU is to keep Frank on staff
forever.
And I think Frank knows that. And I think even because he was asked, Wilson asked him the question of similar to what are your aspirations with this? And we can just go straight into it and run the clip as well. It's clip number 9. He just asked him the question of his aspirations and, the dream of being the LSU head football coach and what he expects or wants to come out of it. And it was a really good answer talking about his career and kind of how he ended up back here. But he never really answered if he's gunning for the job. And I think this answer kind of shows his mindset of he's in a similar place where he knows what's best for LSU.
Yeah, so, as my career path started, certainly I was in Knoxville before I came here, and old Charlie Baglio gave me a call and said that Coach Miles wanted to visit about consideration in coming back to LSU. And so the reality of it happened then. I had been at other schools outside of Louisiana, but it was then, 2009, when I got that call, and so the reality of it hit at that time. And when I came in, he and I Coach did, and we talked about what it meant to coach at LSU, and I shared with him all the reasons why I thought it was the ideal job for a person who was born and raised here. And then the reality of it happened, and it was overwhelming. It was humbling. I was excited to be here at that time. And then, of course, it catapulted me with the head coaching opportunity when I left and went to San Antonio. And so in coming back full circle, came back to help Coach Kelly rebuild, to get us back in our rightful place. And I remember him asking me, because I didn't tell him initially, yes, I'm coming back. And he said to me, you would consider staying at McNeese as the head coach instead of coming back to LSU. And I paused and I said, that's a big job. That's a big job. And I have to condition my mindset to get back in the weeds, to go compete at a very high level, because that guy in Tuscaloosa, that guy in Athens, Georgia, coach, they'll rip your heart out. This was a conversation then. And so I just got to condition my mind, because the previous 5 years I had been a head coach, if I'm ready and willing to go do that yet again, because I know what it takes for that program to get back where we would like it to be. And so was up for it, still up for it, to get us back to our rightful place.
I mean, first off, an excellent answer, talking about just not only his career going from Tennessee to LSU to his head coaching gigs back to LSU, him talking about the conversation he had with BK, well, first with Les when he first was offered the job, and he said, he sat there and explained to Les why this is the best job in the sport and what makes LSU different. And so knowing it before he even got here, and then getting here and really seeing the inner workings of the way it works, and being able to learn it even better, and then sitting with BK and BK offering him the gig and him going am I prepared to get back in the weeds and battle against Saban and Kirby? That's the two guys that was his answer, was to get LSU back to where they belong, which is where Alabama is and where Georgia is. And then Frank continues on and he says he's still up for it.
Yeah, the opponent shifts.
Yes.
All right. I look around the room whenever I'm at McNeese and I look at the conference and I go, okay, who are some of these guys? Then you take that step up. You go, these are legends. These are mountains I have to move. I have to be able to condition myself, get back into essentially championship prize fighting shape. This is not easy. And if he had that same conversation with Brian Kelly, which I'd imagine Brian Kelly through one ear out the other is I am one of those. I know how to do this. And I don't think the message probably fell on deaf ears, because it was more of I see myself as an equal with those coaches. No, I'm telling you about the program.
Right. And
it felt like that was never really heard. And I don't know how you could sit in a room with Frank Wilson and not heed everything. It's akin to almost Jay Johnson not listening to Skip Bertman. I know everything about this. Look at what I've done here.
Right.
Look at the players that this is how I know the blueprint. I've worked with that guy over in Tuscaloosa, and it's whatever.
Right.
And that's why people have taken to Jay the way that they have, because he kneeled at the altar. And it was teach me. I want to learn from you. Listen, look at what you're the best college baseball coach of all time. At this place, you built it. I'd like to
right.
Show me the instruments.
Show me how it works.
Yes.
Show me how to drive the vehicle that you built.
Right.
That you created. And as much as Frank wasn't the guy that built it, he was a big piece of what, if you look at the golden era of LSU football, Saban started it, Moffitt was a part of it, Wilson's right there in the mix of what created this engine that has been LSU football over the last 25 years. And it's a credit to him, and that's why I'm excited for him to have this opportunity, because like Lloyd, you said, there's not, and we've said it throughout the past 2 weeks, there's not a better guy for this. I don't think I can stress how impressive it is that there have been 0 opt-outs. He was asked again yesterday, has there been any conversations about opting out? Nope.
How do you think this plays in the offseason when Frank does eventually step down and they bring in a new head coach? With the opt-outs.
We had this conversation yesterday as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's a confusing situation, because I think if you're just looking at it on paper, you're asking a guy to lead your team and to be the head coach for a month for the final 4 games, and then either, you want him to be retained. That's the tough part, because usually these things happen and then the interim is gone when the new staff comes in. But with Frank, you're anticipating, or you should be anticipating if you're the new coach, to say, no, he needs to stay.
He's part of the gig.
Right. And so
there's non-negotiables here.
And Frank, Corey, Austin Thomas, those guys, you keep them, because that keeps Harlan Berry, that keeps Pickett, and they probably keep some other guys
And
as
it
well.
keeps your ability of all, because the way that this is set up currently,
Right.
all of these people that you have in place is not only to keep your current roster, because the bones of it are good. You have
talent.
You have talent.
Right.
And then it becomes, all right, you should keep Austin Thomas probably on staff because he is currently roster building for 2026.
Right.
Like, he has a game plan whenever you come in here. This is what it's going to look like if you were to take, like, so I think that's the bigger part of the conversation we haven't really had. Like, people are talking about the president and the athletics director. It's like, that's all fine and good. I'm worried about the football team. And
Right.
when you have these people that are in place, you have to have that conversation, I would imagine, during negotiations where you're like, look, and that's why I think Verge is a great guy, because how many people also make this hire with an interim athletics director
Right.
and no president?
Right. No,
Like, so you're still trying to have these conversations and say this is the way it's going to go, and it's not even the people that are going to be there when you take the job. It's a very confusing time
It's
because you expect Verge to still be around too.
It's a very interesting situation because it's like nothing you've ever had to deal with before. Like
Nobody's ever done it this way.
Yeah, whenever O was fired, O stayed on as interim, so you got the clean sweep of the staff. And you don't have to worry about any of that rollover. And so I think that it is an interesting situation to give Frank the keys for this month and to hold the rope in such an important time. Like he says it, talking about recruiting, it's 30 days until signing day. Like, this isn't some time period that's just like, hey, just get us. This is an important period of time, and so I think it is very interesting that you would expect Frank to take a step back. But I think, like, even in that answer that we just listened to, Frank is conditioned for that because he knows, even as much as he probably would love to run LSU, he's a football coach. Of course, he would love to lead this program. He knows what's best for LSU. And it's a credit to him.
Self-awareness?
Self-awareness and humility. Like, to be humble enough to say, you know what? This program truly is bigger than me. Because a selfish man will say, no. What's best is me to get this
I
job.
haven't even won all my games yet.
There you go.
and Frank's would be, no. What's best for LSU, Mother University, in this program would be for me to be here forever. And the way for that to happen is for me to not be expendable as the head football coach. And so I do think it's going to be an interesting dynamic.
This sounds like Frank's going to be involved in the hiring process. Because if the new coach is not aligned with Frank, well, then
I think
Frank's either going to form a coup against him or the new coach is going to try and get him out.
You definitely should heed Frank's advice.
Right. That's why I'm thinking, like, Frank has a say on who the head coach is.
He should. Like, you definitely heed Frank's advice. And on top of that, maybe not as much Frank has a say, but when you're talking to whoever your prospective head coach is, you say, hey, this guy,
You
need to make sure you're in line with him because he is staying. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Truck and trailer.
You're more so like, if you're taking the LSU gig, Frank Wilson stays.
And that takes a humble head coach, too, because
Right.
could you imagine becoming the head coach of LSU and being told, hey,
You
by the
can't
way,
bring your-
this guy really has more power than you do in the building of how this thing operates?
Well, that's what I think, like that alignment, you talk about it,
Yeah.
like that's what they're going to have, because if you're a head coach, you're definitely somebody that has a thought of, I want to bring in my people, right? Like, I want my defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, running backs coach. Like, I've made promises to people also that I work really well with, and that's why the more that you look at it, there's only a couple of names where this thing works the way that it's currently constructed.
Right.
It's not, I don't know. It has to be somebody that you are familiar with and that they know who you're, and maybe have dealt with him, these people before.
And that's what I was saying. I think that's why there's as big of a stress on Kiffin, outside of just the fact that he's the hot name. When Frank talked about his time at Knoxville, who was the head football coach? It was Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
He worked for Lane Kiffin. If you watch one of the videos of them, I think when they were wearing the black jerseys for the first time, if you look at, there's a clip of them coming out of the tunnel, Tennessee, and it's Ed Orgeron and Frank Wilson standing right there with the football team. And so obviously Frank has experience with Kiffin. Kiffin also, who was his general manager at Ole Miss for a couple of years. Austin Thomas. Like, that to me is why Kiffin is as high on the list, especially for myself as he is because you kind of see the puzzle pieces all fit together if it is him. because that's what's important. Like you, and that's what I liked about when Verge spoke and when Frank speaks. Like they don't speak from a place of like fear or desperation or like anything is crumbling. They're so confident who they are, who one another are, and where this like that's where like we talk about alignment. Like there's some alignment right now, especially with those two guys, because they are all bought in on holding the rope and getting LSU back where it needs to be, like Frank said. And so it was a great point by you, Christian, to talk about Frank and his say. I don't know if it'll be a say in the head coaching deal, but he'll definitely get he'll be in the loop, and I think more so he'll be in the room, and whoever's when Verge is making the hire or interviewing or getting things straightened out, he's going to say, are you going to be able to be the head football coach and you have to keep this guy on staff? If you can't commit to that, then Frank is almost a non-negotiable at this point.
Well, because you work so hard to bring them all, to get this room back together, and it feels like it's, like I said, the structure of it all, there seems to be, you cut off the head of the snake, but you want to keep the rest of the body. Like you want to keep, that's the part where it happened even with Les, whenever his time came up, you're like, but you have everybody that you kind of want in place,
right? But
it's just not. There's an issue here,
yeah,
and that's what makes it so hard. And then even like same thing with Ed,
right?
Like you have all of the things that you need at LSU to be able to be successful. All of these other pieces, ancillary pieces that Brian Kelly did not see as important, and then he realized the importance of them. And now without the man that made the invisible hand that made all of those moves happen is gone, and so you just don't want the importance of that to be cast aside to be able to get like that's why if you bring in, I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think anybody thinks this is going to happen, but I'm going to insert Dan Lanning.
Right.
You think he's going to look? He's like, well, I have my own things going on over here at Oregon that seem to be pretty good. Like I was going to bring my entire staff over. And now, if you're saying I can't, I'm not taking that job.
And I think most coaches would look at the situation, especially with what Brian Kelly just went through, and understand that okay, this job is a little bit different than anywhere else. Like it's gonna be my way or the highway. Mike, y'all are nuts if you think the new coach will be told that he has to keep certain people. That's not how that works. I'm not saying he's going to be told you have to keep Frank or you're not getting this job. But you can't tell me that it's not going to be in whoever comes in's best interest to keep Frank Wilson and Corey Raymond, Austin Thomas around. You know why? Because that's how you keep the roster.
So basically, he will tell him that probably.
I mean, I don't know if it'll be a straight up but when you look at this team, if you want to keep a Trey Green, a Harlan Berry, a DJ Pickett, you keep those guys because they'll be gone if you don't. DJ Pickett committed
to Corey Raymond.
He didn't commit to LSU. That's not how this works anymore. And so if Corey Raymond's not here, neither is DJ Pickett. And I'm not going to speak – I'm not talking like I have some inside source that's telling me, hey, if Raymond's gone, Pickett's gone. No. It's pretty obvious they showed up to the meeting together. When Kelly was meeting with the team to say goodbye and wrap it all up, Corey Raymond and DJ Pickett were walking in side by side. Frank Wilson talked about his recruitment of Harlan Berry that he started when he was in 8th grade. Frank and his dad went to high school together. You think Harlan Berry didn't commit to LSU. He committed to Frank Wilson. And so it's of the utmost importance to keep those guys around because you're looking at it right now that guys aren't opting out yet. I don't know if they will, but as of this moment, when the opportunity is there, the season's over. Obviously, 3 losses. For all intents and purposes, it's over. Like
it's not over until it's over.
You're out of the playoff hunt at the current standing. So for a guy like Mansour Delane, where you're going to be a top 15 pick, what do you still need to play for? You go down the list of some of these guys, but they're bought into the message. So the fact that the guys have held on and continued to hold the rope and keep it all intact shows just how bought in everyone is to Frank and some of those other guys on staff. And I thought when you listen to Frank in his opening statement, just talk about what they've done, what they're preparing for, where this team is, I thought it really shined a good light on the current setting and standing of LSU football and where it's at under the direction of Frank Wilson right now, where he talked about what they did last week. From everything I've heard, very different than the prior bye week earlier in the season when the head coach may not have been around. This bye week, there was no leaving. There was no days like we're spending time together. So Lloyd, if you want to play the opening statement, number 11, it's a little bit long, but this is Frank opening up the press conference yesterday and talking about how they spent the week, what he's seen from the team as he's kind of taken over, and he goes into preview Alabama a little bit and what they expect this Saturday as they face off with the Crimson Tide. And so I think it was a really good answer, especially when he shined light on what he saw throughout the bye week, because I think that really shows where this program is at right now.
Start off by saying really pleased with the morale of our football team is extremely high right now as we wrapped up what was a bye week going into a weekend of non-play. Our team really came together during the bye week. I thought it was a time of reflection for our football team to look at the things that we had not done well and to correct those things. I think we did that to build our team with depth and youthfulness. I thought we did that. We then, of course, took the weekend off and came back on yesterday to now turn our attention to a very, very quality opponent in Alabama. And as we went out yesterday in this introduction of opponent, I thought our team really embraced mentally preparation for this team. It was a very good football team, and make no doubt about it. But I think we understand the challenges that are before us. I think our football team is eager to play in this game on Saturday against Alabama. We know what we're up against, and I think we'll have an opportunity to play our best football. That is the attitude in the building. I think it resonates from the coaches to the players, the support staff, where everyone's really excited about the opportunity to play again. And so as we turn to Alabama and you look at them as a team, Ty Simpson is as good as they come. You know, you look at someone who's 20-1 touchdown to interception ratio, an offense that goes as he goes, with quality receivers and Bernard and Williams, guys that can make plays, a quarterback that can throw the anticipatory throw into windows with good decision-making mindset, but also a guy who can run the ball when he needs to. I think he can scramble, he can get yards when it needs to be, tough yards. And so I think that's a tremendous compliment for their football team. You know of Caden Proctor, the big offensive lineman who anchors their offensive line, that, you know, they do a good job in protection. They keep him clean. They run the ball efficient and do a good job there as well. Then when you look at them on defense, it's a typical Alabama defense. It starts up front. The interior guys, they're stout. They're knockback guys that play well from an interior standpoint. They have some steady guys on the edge that can pose problems for us and has posed problems for opponents. And they're good at the linebacker position. Skilled in the back end of secondary defenders that can make plays on the ball. But I like us. I really do. I like our football team. I think we're a talented football team. I think we have the potential to be a good football team. And I think Saturday night will give us an opportunity to put all those things together to play what is still yet our best football, which is ahead of us.
There was Frank's opening statement and him talking about what they accomplished in the bye week. It's just always, it's funny. Like I said when we opened it up, listening to him speak, you can just tell how invested he actually, like how much he actually pays attention. Like he has a plan for everything he knows why they do it, what they're doing it for. And he's very open about it in a way without being like, I was talking to my dad about it yesterday, like going through, the coaches we've watched pressers of, right? From Les, listening to his press conferences where you never knew what to expect.
Yeah, you walked out of there more confused than you.
Then when you went in.
Well, you came out with a new perspective.
With more questions.
Yeah, about something else.
Right.
It's a totally different day.
At Orgeron, where he might just be too open about things, like tell you the whole
kit and caboodle.
Yeah, right. To Kelly, where he seemed more calculated, but at the same time, like you started questioning, kind of close, especially closer to the end, like how much does he really know what's going on? Like how a part of these things is he?
It's almost like he wanted to create a challenge for himself. How much can I get away with?
Right, and then turning the page to Frank now, where it's like a mix of. Where he's very involved in what's going on, so he knows, and he's open about it, but not to the extent of like, is he saying too much?
Yeah, giving away trade secrets, and he speaks with it's so impassioned.
Yes.
You can see like you can hear it in his voice that he knows what, he's speaking on something that he cares very much about, and he's having to answer questions in a time where it's not very easy because everybody's future, it feels, whether it be it is set in stone or it isn't. Like it's such a confusing time to have to go and step up to a microphone, and you have football to play.
Yeah,
like that's like everything. Football has almost become ancillary at this point, but that's what they're trying to get away from. They're trying to make the main thing the main thing. Like we have a game to play.
Let's get back to football,
right? And that's where you're trying to turn the page to it, but it keeps coming up on Frank. What are your aspirations? Your past? Like all of these different things that aren't about LSU, Alabama, but in a sense it is.
Right.
So it's just to be able to navigate these waters the way that he has when he has, and it's not just word salad.
No, that's the thing. It's very much like.
Well, I think it's kind of a testament to he actually knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I think for 4 years we had a coach who didn't know what he was talking about, was not familiar with who the players were, what was going on in practice, what they were trying to accomplish, and now you got a guy who literally is laying it out for you and knows what he's doing, knows what the team needs to do. I think it's a little bit.
Yeah, and I like the word passion. I also think like he's very intentional. Mm-hmm. So he's intentional with his actions, what they're doing at practice. He's also intentional in how he speaks about it.
And he hasn't been. Well, this tenor and tone could change after the Alabama game,
right? Like
where you actually get football questions about, you said you were going to run the football, you said you didn't. It's like, all right, how does the lie come out? Like, how does it? Well.
All the cards on his side. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And like you keep just dealing them to. Right. Like, yeah, great. Right. Thank you.
He's got and that was one of my takeaways sitting there yesterday was like, I was trying to think of what questions people would want asked that weren't being asked. And I was like, well, there's not really any questions right now. They haven't played.
Right.
Like so, it's just kind of it's this fluff time. You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, how's this transition going? How has it been like with this and that? Like, it's just very much getting you. But next Monday, it'll be completely different. It'll be, well, Coach, in the third quarter, this happened and y'all didn't do that. But it can change. But I did like his answers. His clip 7, Lloyd, of they asked him about Blake Baker and the defense. He talked about the dynamic at practice.
This one got some run, huh?
It did. And kind of what it's looked like and the conversations he's had with Blake.
Because it's still like some of these answers, you can tell you're cleaning up a little bit of a mess,
right?
That was left behind, and everybody that is still looking like, how can I tarnish Brian Kelly again? Like you're looking for where were all the crap?
What was whenever you hear something, you're like, oh, so Kelly, what? Oh, it was a mess.
Because now people have. Whether you listen to the show or not, now people are starting to come to that side of it like, oh, It was an unmitigated disaster. Like, he wasn't doing what? And it's like, we tried to tell you that I don't know how involved this man was. And the more kind of you get a peek behind the curtain, it was like, yeah, it's as bad as it's ever been for what everybody that was. And that's why I used to get so frustrated because it was always, well, Brian Kelly said or Brian Kelly did. It's like, I don't think he did. Like, he's lying to you. And now you're starting to see kind of that all of that come to light where it's like, oof. And this is one of those moments, again, with how they were running practices and how they are changing what they do at some of these practices. And Blake Baker, seems like he had asked for this to happen, and it never did. And so now Frank is going to alleviate that.
I think he is a very, very talented coach who wants to contribute, who want his side of the ball to excel. And here's what I've said to him: you don't have to do it by yourself. We're a team. We're three phases of a football team, and the things that we need to do to allow our defense to get its swagger back, let's do those things. Let's incorporate these things into a practice setting. One of the things for him was, Coach, I need to see physicality in an inside run drill, if you will. You got it. We're doing it tomorrow. All right, so we'll get a little roughed up, if you will, and play inside run offense against defense so that we're given the best sample size. It won't be a full-out scrimmage. We're not doing those things in season, but we're going to mix it up a little bit so we can see speed and physicality that when our defense sees it on Saturday, it's not shocking because of the look you've gotten all week has not been realistic. And so it's been portions of the practice schedule that he has asked for that we're going to give him to allow us to simulate a game situation best. But he's been fantastic. He's all in. The defensive staff is all in, and we're going to give them those things that they need defensively to get their swagger back.
So Lloyd, would you like it? Would we be able to run some inside run stuff at practice today to get some physicality, so that we're not surprised?
So we're not soft as baby shit.
On Saturday when there's
we got hit in the mouth.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Physicality.
And I mean, I think that goes both ways, right? Like you'd want to see Brian Kelly tried to push this narrative at the end, right? Where he's like, we figured out how to be physical. And so that's what you were talking about? You started hitting each other? Because this is what makes Twitter, is like people just take it roads so they're playing patty cake at practice. Like I'm sure they were, I'm sure they were still running into each other. But
well, it's a different age of football,
right? Well, and there's the pendulum swings both ways. Les Miles was running 2-a-days, but they're like, we're dead by Saturday,
right?
And it's like they were tough and physical, but they were beat up going into football games. And then it became Brian Kelly. Do you remember the install that everybody was so happy with that over the offseason of how it was basically load management for a football team,
right?
And the people still got hurt. But remember, like he came in here with a very good plan about how to keep people healthy and keep people at 100%. So when you get ready for game time, you'll be there as opposed to getting beat up. Well, now you're soft. And so it has to swing back the other way a little bit of like what he tried to do before, I guess, his last game after Vanderbilt. Is like, we figured out how to be physical. I think we started hitting each other. Is that how much it had gone to the other side?
I guess.
And now you're bringing that back when you have a defensive coach that obviously first 4 games sterling, right? Like it was as good as the defense can look, and that's how you're going to win the game. We won the game, and we're going to rely on our defense. And then you started to see some of the kinks in the armor where it was, man, you're going to get dominated in the third and fourth quarter, and people are exposing you a little bit. And he's like, I would imagine that this isn't the first time Blake Baker has had this thought. Of course, hey, can we do some different things on install whenever we practice? And it's like one ear out the other. It's like, all right, I'm done asking.
Like my players need to see physicality during the week so that they are truly prepared. Like Frank said, so that you're not surprised. Because I don't think the players were surprised.
They know what sport they're playing. They know what
sport they're playing. But there is a surprise factor, I guess, when you haven't done anything like that all week and your body's just not prepared. Like truly, just not prepared to do it.
Well, because you can get into this going through the motions of, all right, I know what run fit it is.
Right.
I know what play is coming, but I don't know the expectation of the person across from me.
Right.
And it becomes like, oh, shit, this is different than practice. Like, whoa.
Well, like I can
because you can brother-in-law it all you want until somebody's not your brother-in-law.
I can get as fired up as I want right now and be like, oh, I'm ready to hit somebody. And then you drop me in the field, and it's just like, that mental physicality.
I was moving at 80%.
I was not ready for what's right in front of me. And that's why during the week, You want to get, like, what do you say? You say roughed up, so to speak.
It's not going to be a scrimmage, but they're going to get roughed up, so to speak.
And so
that's one of his crutches, so to speak.
So to speak. Yep, so to speak.
Started to, notice these things.
Yeah. Oh, you pick up on something.
Trends.
Everybody's got their.
Oh, this, that, and the other.
There you go.
That's right.
And so it was another good answer and kind of describing, once again, maybe looking at what in the past was lacking. I want to play clip number 5, Lloyd. This is him talking about recruiting, and this is where you're just listening to a master speak about his craft. Where when you think of Frank Wilson, you think of one of the greatest recruiters ever. And in this time, they've had 0 decommitments. They've even added a commitment, and you're coming up to the...
They're in the net positive.
Right. I think yesterday was their 30-day mark before signing day. And so a crucial stretch of time ahead of this uncertainty, during all this uncertainty, and this is Frank talking about how they've continued to recruit and take care of business on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, so for us, it's the 30-day countdown to signing day. It's funny you would ask that. And so we have a plan, a systematic plan, and the responsibility of the primary recruiter, the coordinator, the head coach, and the support staff that will allow us to do that. For an example, tonight for me is to call the 27 class, right? For tomorrow is to call the 26 class. I've called all of them already. But then on tomorrow to call them yet again, at least 10 of them again. And then what will happen on Wednesday, we have our power hour where we pass the phone around. And that time is used for coaches, parents, and a student athlete we may have not gotten. The whole key is communication. And so to be able to speak on our behalf and not allow someone to speak on behalf of us is the most important part. When you're void, someone else steps in and say, hey, you hear what's going on at LSU? This is what I heard. Hey, this is what I know. And we tell our committed guys, you don't have to listen to that because you have a direct line to the source. And so we make ourselves available. We communicate effectively with both the student athlete, the parent, and the high school coach, which usually bodes well for us.
There is Frank talking about the recruitment process. My favorite part of that quote is literally just the communication aspect of it. Like, don't listen to what these other people are saying about LSU, because we'll tell you what the deal is. You've got a straight line of communication to the source. If another coach is telling you, well, this is what I've heard about LSU, call me. I'll tell you what the deal is. And so it has been cool to see that there haven't been many decommitments, and I know there are some other things that play a factor in that, like NIL, where some of these kids that are in-state, because Louisiana is one of the states that allows high school NIL, probably have already signed deals, and there's ways, those things can play a factor, of course. But I do think it's good to see the way that they've had no opt-outs, no decommitments, and just the program still moves on and moves forward. And I'm excited to see what this week can continue to do for them if they come out on Saturday and do what I anticipate them to do. Because I fully anticipate LSU to come out with a different mentality and that physicality that they did at practice yesterday, obviously, on Saturday against Alabama. And I want to play 2 clips here talking about 2 position groups.
2 clips ready.
There you go. Clip number 1 and clip number 2 is Frank talking about the quarterback position and the left tackle position. Those are 2 things that I think are on the top of everyone's mind going into Saturday. And so you can just run both of those back-to-back, Lloyd, as we hear Frank Wilson talk about the quarterback spot for LSU, Garrett Nussmeier, Michael Van Buren, as well as left tackle with Tyree Adams out, Kerry's current questionable, and what lies beyond that.
As far as the quarterback position, as I spoke about, Garrett is our starting quarterback. We do think that Michael brings some special things to the table that makes the defense have to defend him as well. And so we'll look at the opportunities that present itself to him for us. And when they present themselves, we'll take advantage of it. We're working on it. We're working on exactly how that would look, whether that would be DJ Chester whether that would be flopping Weston over. We have a couple of scenarios that we're looking at right now. Probably the most immediate thing would be is to put DJ Chester in at left tackle and do the things we need to do to allow him to play his very best.
So in the quarterback front, I completely agree with Frank. With the way they're handling it is right. Garrett Nussmeier deserves the opportunity to get to play outside of that mess that they were in with Sloan, Kelly, that dynamic, to get an opportunity to go play inspired football without all that BS going on in his headset and around him. Just go play football, Garrett, and see how it goes. And I also think he's handling it right. And if they do allow Van Buren to get red zone snaps or a third down snap or these certain design plays or the way they may use him, I think they're handling that correctly.
And that's what's interesting, because if it were somebody vying for a job, you might see that handled a little bit differently. I'm going to start Van Buren.
Well, because he's the future. And
right. And so I would look, if this is the way that it's going to shake out the way that I want it to shake out, and I want to make an impact, and I want to keep Van Buren on the team, and I think he's the quarterback of the future, we're starting this thing right now.
Right.
And instead it is, let's give Garrett Nussmeier another opportunity to maybe get his last season kind of dust it off, get it up off the ground, dust himself off.
Right.
And that does have, it's part and parcel with what's going on with the offensive line in front of you. And it's not like Frank can create a player.
No.
You really can't do, you got what you got.
Right.
And you have to be able to find ways with Alex Atkins to scheme around it or get better.
No, 100%. And I think so many of Frank's answers and the way he speaks instill confidence in me. The situation at left tackle and on the offensive line is so bad, there was no way for him to handle it by instilling confidence. It did the exact opposite. When he was asked, what's y'all's plan at left tackle with Tyree Adams out and if Karius Kern can't go, and what was the answer?
Actually,
we're working on it. We're working on that. Like, yeah.
You know exactly how.
Oh, no, I started the Zoom. Never mind. So it makes the audio. We're working on it?
We're working on it. It doesn't exactly instill confidence, and I think that just goes to show the tough situation that lies ahead at offensive line, but left tackle specifically. Definitely going to be interesting to see what it looks like at that spot. If they do go DJ Chester, if they flip Weston Davis to left tackle as opposed to right, which is maybe a tough task. And I don't think anything that people are going to be excited about. What it may or may not look like, it's obviously going to be something to keep an eye on. But I definitely am not confident in what that group of five, especially left tackle, are going to put on the field against Alabama in that defensive front. But don't forget, every single day we're brought to you by AJ Sports Cards. AJ Sports Cards has sponsored us and been a part of the Tingle & Co. team since day number one. I met with them before we even went live from Tingle & Co., and they bought in on what we were doing, and we're excited to be a part and to team up with us. And so shout out to our friends over at AJ Sports Cards. They're located right there at 3348 Drusilla Lane in Baton Rouge. A great shop, and they put together some really awesome events. So make sure you go check out the store or follow them on their social media at AJ Sports Cards 225BR on Instagram and AJ Sports Cards on Facebook. They keep you up to date on everything they've got going on, whether it's events, different specials they're running, or different packs or boxes that they get in through the mail that are up for sale. So make sure you check them out on social media. Go into the store at 3348 Drusilla Lane or call them at 225-831-4508. They've got a really cool event coming up next month, I believe, right in the middle of December at Elite Football Academy. So make sure you check that out. We appreciate AJ Sports Cards, and you should as well, because they keep us rocking and rolling here at Tingle & Co. We will take a quick break. We have Glen West of 247Sports join us at 8 a.m. to kick off hour number 2 here on this Tuesday morning.
What up, Big G? Wardo's was created in honor of Alan Ward Granning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Branding at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's a repair, a replacement, or a storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
All right, welcome back here as we kick off hour number 2 on this Tuesday morning of Alabama week as the Tigers and the Tide face off Saturday night in Bryant-Denny Stadium. We are joined by one of our favorites, Big Glen West from 247Sports, as he covers the Tigers for them, and he will join us this morning to talk about the Tigers. Good morning, Glenn. Thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, lots transpired since the last time we talked, huh?
Yeah,
It's been crazy.
Wasn't a normal bye week, huh?
No, it was not the normal open date for sure. I mean, I can't tell you how much time I spent on the phone, on the computer, just trying to get a handle on everything that was going down. But happy to be able to focus on football here at least for a little bit.
Yeah, no, that was I think one of me and Lloyd's main points going through like Wednesday and Thursday of last week, because I think we talked to you Wednesday morning last week, and then it ended up getting even crazier after the fact. We looked at each other on Thursday. We were like, can't wait to get to next week and talk about LSU football.
Yeah, and we're still not.
Oh, great! All right, awesome.
But no, we will start. I want to ask you a question, obviously, with being at 24/7 with a focus on recruiting and stuff. How impressive is it that through all of this uncertainty and change, LSU has had 0 opt-outs? You asked the question yesterday. No opt-outs, no decommitments, and actually have added a commitment in this span. How impressive is it that in this new era of college sports, Frank and this staff and LSU have been able to hold on the way they have?
Yeah, I think you first off you put a little bit of a wet towel over that, and you say, hey, like, it's only been a week, and they still got a whole month they got to get through here, but they're off to the right kind of start. And I think the big thing that Frank talked about yesterday, which I thought was really important and really good to get out there publicly, is kind of the process that LSU's going through right now with their recruiting. It sounds like that they have this strategy really kind of in a row, like all their ducks are in a row from this strategy standpoint. It sounds like they're making calls on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday they have this thing called their power hour where they basically pass the phone around to a bunch of the coaches, and then they'll have a student athlete or two in there as well, talking to some of these recruits. And so the big thing is communication, and they don't want any of these recruits to be caught off guard by anything that someone else is maybe telling them about LSU. Like, they want these open lines of communication. So if any of these committed players, any of these recruits in future classes have questions about where LSU's going, what kind of the process is looking like, they can just pick up the phone and call those guys directly and they'll get an answer. And so I think that was really important to convey yesterday. That I won't say that there aren't guys listening. I mean, this last weekend, for example, Bryson Martinez, one of the offensive linemen one of the top offensive linemen in the country, and a highly recruited Louisiana player, was at Texas this last weekend. I think you're going to see some 2027 guys continue to make their moves, and that's nothing that's out of the ordinary because guys like Ahmad Hudson, and these are highly touted guys in their junior seasons, and they like to make the rounds. And so Hudson was at Nebraska. He'll be at Alabama this weekend for the LSU game. And so lots of guys are going to, I would imagine, continue to keep their phone lines open. But I think it's really interesting that LSU, at least so far in this 2026 class, they haven't had a whole ton of guys that have been open to receiving a lot of these calls to this point, and a lot of the messages that these other programs are going to try to make here over the next month. I mean, that doesn't mean that can't change over the next several weeks, but LSU's done a really nice job of keeping this class together, to y'all's point.
And another one of the questions that was asked yesterday, and Frank's answer I thought was interesting, where he was asked, I think Wilson asked him about his thought process around the job, if it's something he's vying for, if he's trying to get the head job. And I thought Frank gave a great answer, kind of talking about the LSU gig and what it means and what it means for him to be here, but he never really answered it like directly. And so I want to get your thoughts on that answer, maybe what you deduced from what he said, and what you expect moving forward.
Yeah, look, I think Frank's a guy who, always kind of grew up. I know he did grow up in New Orleans, in Louisiana, and he built a ton of connections early in his career. He knows this place. He knows the ins and outs of Louisiana, and I think most of all, he knows what you can do when you have a strong recruiting base with no other school to really compete for some of those top talented players. And LSU has been that for the last 2 decades. They've done a great job of recruiting the state of Louisiana, and the state just continues to pump out these really high-level athletes. And Frank Wilson's right at the middle of all of that. And at least for on and off for the last 10 years, he's been really a staple here in Baton Rouge and helping getting those players to LSU. And so I think he understands what the job requires. Look, I think there's going to be a lot of people that they call and ask about this job, and I'm not sure Frank Wilson would be somebody that is a serious contender right now. But I do know that he loves this place more than anything, and I know that that means something to LSU. It should mean something to LSU fans, and I think that if you're able to convince him to stick around and just continue to be what he has been, and potentially we'll see what happens here over the next 4 weeks. But if they go on some kind of crazy run here, then I think absolutely he's a guy that you throw into that mix, because it shows that these players and the guys that he's helped get to LSU to this point really love him and really play for him and really play for this school, and that his message was really well received in what was a very chaotic time for this program. So I think these next 4 weeks will tell us a lot about how serious LSU is about Frank Wilson as the future of the program. But I think right now you're going to see a lot of the once this university president in particular is hired on Tuesday, the process is really going to ramp up from a coaching search standpoint. And
it brings an interesting perspective to all of this, because if Frank Wilson does go out and run the table, and then you have this idea of him kind of holding the rope, holding the reins of LSU football, keeping it all together, But you have to consider the dynamic of the locker room if Frank were to run the table and they feel this renewed sense of energy, and then you say, well, that was fun, and then you bring in a new head coach where there's going to be, I would imagine, some dissension or some player vote that you have to keep Frank. You have to keep Frank as the head coach as opposed to just keeping Frank on staff. Is that something that where you have success, it could almost be to your detriment?
It's a good point, and we're kind of speaking in hypotheticals now, so it's
Right.
really tough to really have a clear answer there. But I feel like there probably would be a lot of support for Frank if they were to run the table, if they were to go 4-0 or 3-1 and look really competitive in every game. That's a huge feather in the cap for him, right? And I think it's a huge feather in the cap for in the same way that it would be for Verge Osbury in terms of going out and finding the next head coach and hitting on that coach. I think that would be a huge feather in the cap for him and his future in terms of being the full-time athletic director. So, it's a results-based industry at the end of the day. And, if Frank does a really good job here over the next month, I think it shows that his message certainly hit with the players and that, a lot of these young guys probably still want to see him sticking around in some capacity. So, that's stuff that we guys, I guess, can talk about here at the end of the month. But I think he's certainly somebody that has a lot to coach for here over the next several weeks.
And you bring up Verge, and before we get into a little bit more of the football and Alabama question, I just want to ask you about your thoughts on Verge's answers in the press conference last Friday. I thought in a pretty tumultuous time for LSU sports and specifically LSU football, there were a lot of questions. There was a lot of people looking around, maybe a little bit of confusion or concern. And I thought Verge did a good job of maybe calming some of that down. And we talk about Frank and his role in this interim process of holding the rope. And I think Verge, kind of like you said, is in a similar spot. And it's two guys that really love LSU and have LSU's best interests at heart, and is going to make sure that the Tigers continue to move in a good direction.
Yeah, I mean, Osbury's been in the athletics department now for going on 25 years, I believe. So he's seen winning. He's seen every iteration of this football program for the last 25 years. He knows what kind of coach wins. He knows what kind of coach loses. He knows everything about this place and what it takes to have success here. And so I thought on Friday when they had their press conference in the morning, you could tell maybe it was a little, awkward at times with some of the answers that they were giving. There were a couple short answers in there, but I think that they said what they had to, what they needed to say. And in terms of, we're going to have carte blanche to go out there and find the best coach, to find the best hire. I think the one thing that is going to come up in these conversations and in these negotiations with the future coach is, that whoever that candidate is, whoever that coach is, they're going to want to know who their athletic director is, and they're going to have a good answer for when that comes up. And so, that's going to be something that I think they'll certainly have to, meet as a team about when they're going into some of these meetings and some of these conversations. But I think it's the best of a bad situation with Osbury. This was a really rough week, I think, for LSU from an athletic department standpoint last week, and now I think the worst of it is behind them. Now they just have to move forward, and they have to have a good plan in place moving forward. And step one is getting the president here hired today, and then you kind of move forward from there. And I think you'll really see this coaching search kind of heat up in the days and weeks to come. We'll start hearing more and more about, interested parties on both sides, and just maybe some conversations that are being had behind the scenes and things of that nature. And hopefully we'll get an answer sooner than later, because that's something that you always want. If you're a player and if you're a recruit, you want to know who your future head coach is. And you got the early signing period coming up on December 3rd. I don't know that we see something before that, but then you also have the transfer portal opening up on January 2nd, and you hope that there's something in place by that time, because then it's going to be just an absolute free-for-all for portal guys and certainly trying to get a roster together for next year.
And when you look at yesterday's press conference, Frank obviously put an emphasis on running the football. He's talked about it consistently in the times he's gotten, whether it's the microphone or on the SEC teleconference. And he obviously was the running backs coach. And also, in addition to talking about running the football more, also talked about Harlan Berry a bunch. And so what do you anticipate this Saturday and maybe moving forward in the run game and as well for Harlem Berry specifically?
I think Harlem's going to be a huge part of LSU's finish to the season. I think he's, one of several players that if you're LSU, you'd love to work it to get back next year, no matter who that ex-head coach is. And I think his role in this offense is going to reflect that. And so I would imagine he gets double-digit carries. I would imagine he's somebody that they really lean into this weekend. I would imagine Caden Durham, too, is also somebody LSU leans into. I think they're going to rush the ball at least 30 times. I think we're going to see a real dedication to the run game this week because it's not just Frank Wilson, on the head mic. It's also Alex Atkins, who's your run game coordinator, the tight ends coach, who's calling the plays. He's going to have a lot of run design plays in there as well. I think the strategy is sound. It makes a lot of sense, right? If you're able to go there and you're able to run the ball in Tuscaloosa, which has not been their strength this year, it could open up some things for you in the passing game, which has been their strength. I think I was doing some of the research last night. Alabama is 12th in the SEC in rush defense, and I think they're number 2 in pass defense. Their defense, it's pretty widespread between those two areas. And so, setting up the run or setting up the pass with the run, I think is going to be a big part of this weekend. And we'll see how effective LSU can be because, I think they do have some really talented running backs that just need some of those holes, and they need to see some of the C's part as it were. And if they're able to do that, I think they should be a little bit more effective and a little bit more efficient if they just kind of stick with it.
And with the obvious change at head coach and a emphasis on the run game, there's one more domino that could possibly affect that. What do you think the impact of this change and maybe inserting a Michael Van Buren into the game at some points? He was obviously asked about it. It was a bit of an answer, but I wonder what your thoughts on maybe seeing him actually implemented into a game plan are.
Yeah, it was a bit of a copy answer from what you said last week, right? That they think he has a skill set that they'll be able to utilize this weekend. I honestly couldn't tell you how much they use him this weekend. I think that they have a plan in place where he could be useful. I would certainly look at him, if you're looking to get, a couple of yards on third down, if you're looking to move the chains in the red zone, if you're close to scoring and you feel like a run play is a really good option for you. I think Van Buren's a guy that you could certainly put out there 5 to 10 times a game and see what he can do for you from a mobility standpoint. But I also think that Frank is true to what he said yesterday, which is that Garrett Nussmeier is their starting quarterback. And I think there's a lot of opportunities here for Garrett, too, to really, I think put some of the struggles in the past and lean into this next month of football. And, I think at the end of the day, a lot of these players, they want to finish the season off the right way. And that's a great message that, Frank Wilson has, tried to instill in this team because I think, the results will come because of that. But, a lot of these players are, playing for their draft futures. They're playing for future portal, interest from other programs. They're playing for future spots on this roster for next year. There's a lot that these players can still play for, even if some of their bigger goals, kind of dashed this year. So it's a great opportunity for Garrett. It's a great opportunity for Michael Van Buren. And I think we'll see both of them this weekend. I just don't know how much we'll see Van Buren.
And another position that's obviously was brought up in the press conference yesterday and is a concern going into this weekend is that left tackle spot. Tyree Adams being out, Carius Kern questionable. And when Frank was asked about their plan, he was like, we're working on it, which doesn't exactly instill confidence in, I think, majority of the fan base looking forward. What do you expect at that position or just even maybe just how the offense tries to overcome a deficiency on that side?
Yeah, today's a big day for Carius and really for Whit Weeks too, who are kind of the two questionable guys going in because this is their first day back on the field where they'll really start to heat up the preparation for Alabama later this week and have a longer practice, more physical practice, and so we'll be able to see what Carius Kern can do. I think come Wednesday we'll find out just kind of what that has looked like over the last couple of days. But look, if if Karras can't go, certainly Tyree Adams is already out. I would imagine LSU goes with DJ Chester. I think that's probably where they're leaning. The other option that was thrown out there was to shift Weston Davis from right tackle to left tackle. I don't know about that. I would probably stick with what you got there. And, if there was another option available, I'm sure LSU would be trying it over the next month. But I do think that, DJ Chester is going to be somebody that you look at left tackle and see if he can't hold up in the run and try to just give Nuss as much time as possible to get the ball out to his playmakers. And certainly I expect Trey Green to be heavily involved in that process as well.
Yes, please.
He's improved his run blocking as well. But you mentioned another name that I want to touch on because it hasn't really, with all of the things that have changed around LSU football, like you kind of forget about what was happening on the field and who is available and who isn't. This week situation is starting to get more and more interesting as you haven't seen him play, and the injury reports have just been he's in a non-weight bearing boot, and that he can still walk. But are you interested to see how this plays out if he plays again this year, and if he doesn't, what do you think maybe the probability of him returning is?
It's a great question. I think he's one of those guys that, if you'd asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have said, there's very little to no chance that Whit Weeks would return on this team. But I think just the way that this season's played out for him, he's been in and out of the lineup with injuries. He's, certainly the last couple of weeks, the defense has felt his absence. I'm not saying that the entire game plans against Vanderbilt and A&M were hinging on Whit Weeks being available, but he's certainly a playmaker that's able to get into the backfield and able to create some things and make stuff happen for you. And LSU they've been missing that a little bit, I think, over the last couple of weeks. And so I think it would be a really interesting conversation to have. I'd love to be a fly on the wall as they're making these calls as to whether or not he wants to go pro or if he wants to potentially come back. I think from an injury perspective, his is a little bit more serious than maybe they initially let on. Like I think he's dealing with something pretty. It's pretty significant. I mean, he's been out now for several weeks and has not been able to practice for several weeks. Like I think this is going to be a huge day for him in terms of whether or not he can do much in practice and what it is that he actually will be able to do. Wilson seemed optimistic a little bit last week, but didn't seem as optimistic yesterday when he was asked about it. But certainly, that's that's a situation to monitor, right? If he doesn't play again this year, what does his draft stock look like going into next season is a very legit question. And, if he, I would personally lean on him coming back if he were not to play again this year. Like if this was a very serious injury that he just could not get back from and could not get healthy from, that's probably where I'd lean. The transfer portal would be an interesting discussion too, but I think he really loves this place. I think he really loves the people that he's been around the last couple of years, and certainly he's got his brother here as well, his younger brother Zach Weeks. So there's a lot of interesting dynamics here that I think have to be considered, and I'll be curious to see how it all plays out with him.
Oh, it could take another step in a very interesting direction. Play for his father-in-law.
Yeah, there you go. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. That's my answer to that.
But Glenn, I'll ask you, just looking towards Saturday. I'm not going to ask you any score prediction. Well, what do you anticipate to see from LSU? Because I think there's a large contingency that thinks they will look different, at least from a mentality or a physicality standpoint, as they head into Bryant-Denny Saturday night.
Yeah, I just hope that they play focused. I hope they play aggressive. I hope they play physical. That's all things that we've heard the last week or two from Frank when we talked to him. They really wanted to reset the mindset, I think, of this group, and we'll see kind of what that means. Look, the LSU is damaged. They're wounded right now, but sometimes those teams can be really, really tough to beat. I mean, just look this last weekend, all the trouble that Florida gave Georgia for about 4 quarters there. They blew it at the end, but that was a very competitive game that you really didn't know which way it was going to go until the end there. And so I think LSU can come out and be competitive in this game. I think they still have a lot of talent on this roster, and I think, Ty Simpson can run a little bit, but he's maybe not the running threat that you saw, from example, of Marcel Reed or Diego Pavia. He's obviously an extremely talented passer. He's got a great plethora of weapons around him. And so I think defensively, how the secondary plays in this game is going to be really interesting for LSU if they can hold up back there. I think you've got a better chance of getting off the field against Alabama than maybe you did, last week against Texas A&M because of that mobility that Marcel Reed had. So that's the defensive side of the ball. And then offensively, if you can establish the run, if you can maybe chew up clock, if you can make this a possession game where you're not allowing Alabama too many cracks at the apple with their offense. That can be a way this team can have success, and it doesn't have to look pretty at all times, but maybe that's exactly the way LSU kind of wants it to look. And I give this team at least a shot to keep it within a score and kind of make it a little bit more of a competitive game than maybe some people are expecting.
I agree. I'm excited to watch them Saturday night. And Glenn, I appreciate you joining us again this morning, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
There he is, Glen West, at Glen West 21, senior writer for Go 247, as he covers LSU football for 247 Sports. Looking forward to a good physical game Saturday night, LSU versus Alabama. We will be watching it live at Golf Suites right off Segan Lane here in Baton Rouge, and it's open to all of you. We will be live in the bar at Golf Suites. Obviously, you can be outside playing golf, hitting some balls, but
Weather is perfect.
the weather will be great, and we will be inside in the bar with the TV on, with some LSU legends as well, and we would love to have all of you there to get that atmosphere popping and watching LSU football matchup with Alabama. It's LSU football versus Alabama live from Golf Suites. We would love for all of you to join us at the Golf Suites bar and watch some football with us, with the boys. We'll have an open mic. You can hop on and say something if you want. You get to listen in-person breakdown from Rohan Davey, Kevin Falk, and then Lloyd and myself, obviously. All of our football minds
Combined
together.
Yes.
We would love to see you there.
Acumen on full display.
100%. So make sure you join us. We will take a quick break here. Now we'll come back and we'll close out hour number 2 here on this Tuesday morning.
Wardo's was created in honor of Alan Ward Granning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Hey, Miss Lou, come visit us, Tom and Wright Granding at Go Martin on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need.
Located at the corner of Highland Boulevard and Highway 61 South in Natchez.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's repair, a replacement, or storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
All right, welcome back here as we are live on this Tuesday morning here, Tingle and Co. Make sure you like, subscribe, get that like count up when we close it out today. Make sure you leave a comment for us, and make sure you share it with your friends and family. Take a stranger's phone. Guess what you should do? You should subscribe on their phone. They'll appreciate it. LSU women's basketball tips off tonight. We are officially in the next season of LSU sports. As LSU women's basketball tip off tonight, I think men's basketball is tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. So we will get into LSU basketball season this week as LSU women's basketball faces off against what team is it tonight? It's a smaller school. I don't remember exactly who it is. I think it's Houston Christian, something like that. Yes, Houston Christian tonight, 7 p.m. in the PMAC. If you are in town, go check them out. Go watch the show as LSU women's basketball has very, very high expectations this season with the additions of some of those portal gets like Amaya Joyner, Kate Koval, and, of course, Mylasia Full-Wiley. But I'm really excited to watch that freshman class. I think that freshman class has the potential to be very, very talented with Zakiya Johnson, Bella Hines, and some of those other really, really talented freshmen that they brought in, I think are going to be very good. And that's where my excitement lies. As much as they have the returning stars and Michaela and Flaugier, and, of course, adding somebody like Mylasia, that freshman class, Grace Knox, Divine Barrage, they have the ability to be very, very special. And we've seen freshmen really come in and show off at LSU, like Flaugier, her freshman year when they went a natty, and then Michaela just a couple years ago. Excited to see what LSU women's basketball looks like tonight with all of the expectations they have. And, of course, LSU men's basketball tomorrow. Look, it is a do-or-die season. The same way we talked about football going in this year, all in, and you've seen what happens when you have a do-or-die season in front of you and you don't meet the requirements at LSU, you get fired. And I think when we talked about over the offseason, we compared LSU men's basketball and football as they were in very similar spots. It was playoff or bust. And at this point, it's like for men's basketball, you got to make the tournament. And what you can't have is what you've had in year one and then obviously last season where you play extremely well through the non-conference and then you get to the SEC and you just crumble. Like, that cannot be the case. I think year two, you really saw the ability to turn it up once you got to conference play. And if you were able to combine a good non-conference
tell me how the season works.
Right, and then you play decent in the SEC, you'll be in a very good spot.
Yeah.
Right? It's easier said than done, but it's a do-or-die year for McMahon. Like, this is as much pressure as you could have going into a season because you got the buy-in, you got the money, you got the roster. Now you've got to put it together on the basketball court.
In a very tough conference.
I mean, the SEC men's basketball is brutal.
And what do you say if you're Matt McMahon, even if you are probably already felt like your seat was warm-ish?
Right.
Now with all of the tides of change that have happened, the guy that hired you is no longer here. They're bringing in
and part of the reason why he was fired was because
basketball stinks.
Basketball stinks, and he said no to bringing in the prodigal son.
Golden boy.
Yeah, and so there's pressure, and I'm not saying any of that noise is still going on. I mean, obviously you can speculate, but I think more than anything, pressure-wise, when you get money and you get buy-in, especially when you haven't gotten it before with this sport, you have to produce. And I think it's a similar aspect of when you looked at football and you said, okay, they're putting $18 million in the pot. What that means is all options are exhausted. If it doesn't work, it's you.
Right.
It's the same conversation for Matt McMahon. $9 million, we've exhausted every option. If it doesn't work,
see you.
And so I think...
But I don't think you have to be a cartographer to be able to draw the map as to what people want and who you're bringing in. And who they would want. Like, it's not rocket science to see what the plan laid ahead of you. If it's not Matt McMahon, it feels like there was a lot of smoke around former coach here,
Right.
to return.
Right.
And if it doesn't go the way that you would want Matt McMahon's career to play out at LSU, I think there's a name on that list that people are very familiar with.
Yes. And but I am excited to watch them play basketball. I do think compared to last season, they are a better team. I watched their exhibition against UCF, and UCF's a good basketball team, made shots. UCF took Duke to the limit in Cameron Indoor in an exhibition, and you saw LSU go out there and handle them. And I thought the reason why was because DJ Thomas, the point guard transfer from UNLV, is impressive, like very, very talented. You just need those ancillary pieces to pick up. Jalen Reed is still kind of getting back in the flow of it. He didn't look fully prepared, and not fully prepared, but he didn't look fully healthy. He still was kind of getting in the groove of playing basketball again as he recovers from a torn ACL. Markel Sutton played good basketball as well. Rashad King I really like as he plays with the type of motor you love in the purple and gold. He shot the ball better than I anticipated. But it really starts with your point guard, and I think you've seen Matt McMahon stress that point in his time at LSU, and they just they had never found the guy. Obviously, they tried Jalen Cook. It didn't really work out. Trey Hannibal wasn't really a true point guard. Who else? You had Justice.
I just forgot about Trey Hannibal running around like
I love Trey
yeah,
Hannibal.
but the life was on the line.
Right. He just wasn't a point guard. And
He's
then
a football player.
Right. Last year you tried Jordan Sears. Still just wasn't truly a point guard. And you saw Givens get an opportunity. He ends up transferring. And now you have that guy. You've got your point guard and DJ Thomas. And I'm excited to watch him play because he's extremely talented. And I think this team is built in a way that McMahon can find success. It just comes down to really doing the little things. They were a little sloppy against UCF, which it was an exhibition.
Where's he from? You have to learn me on this LSU. I've been consumed.
So McKinnon was the transfer from Portland.
Oh, that makes sense.
We were talking about LSU needing. I was like, I was really love if they found a wing scorer, like a shooter, and then they go and they get a white
Portland
man from
White.
Portland. I was
yeah,
like,
perfect.
That's what you call whenever I'll make put together a scouting report for basketball. Whatever you put next to his name, you put stereotype. Mm-hmm. That's all you have to write.
Oh, you have to back cut.
What he's going to backdoor cut you?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to stop on 2 feet.
Yep.
What he's going to do? He's going to catch that ball in the corner. He's going to put it
shooter
put it through the rim.
off the glass.
Yes, but DJ Thomas is very talented. You saw the pass there. Nwoko did a great job banging down low against UCF, and so I'm excited to see if they can all put it together. I think the biggest thing working against him is how tough this conference is. I mean, the SEC is brutal, but this is a good team, and I like the pieces they have. It just and that's the aspect where it falls on coaching. You look at the pieces and you go, okay, I like these guys that they've added in. They do these things well. They can mesh together well, especially when you have a point guard. It's like having a quarterback. And so then it falls on, okay, can we put them in the position to be successful? And that falls on coaching. Brandon Hollingsworth, I'll pick LSU to finish 12th in the league, 7-11 in league play. Look, I think the number you want to get to that 8 or 9 win number in the conference to maybe not put as much pressure because you need to go through the non-conference almost spotless. I think last year they lost 2 non-conference games, I believe. Pitt and SMU were the 2 losses. And so you were in a really good spot going into league play, and then you just started to kind of falter as it went on. And so if you can go through non-conference the way you did last year, where you have extreme success, that you get into league play and you win 7, 8, 9 games, you give yourself a really good chance. Obviously, you want to do better than that, but that's where I'm going to set the line. Because if you do that, you can get in. I think in the SEC, how many teams do we have in the conference? 16?
Mm-hmm.
If you can get into that top 12, you have a really good shot. Because the SEC strength of schedule is that good. So
we saw it last year.
Right. I think, 2 teams didn't make it?
Yeah, Wilder, one of them.
LSU and South Carolina, who were the 2 bottom-ranked teams right now in power rankings where – you do preseason SEC rankings, LSU, South Carolina are at the bottom of the barrel again.
Well, and 2 of the teams that did not really put a lot of money or effort into the NIL version of this, and now you've seen LSU kind of flip the script on that. And for McMahon, it's such an interesting thing to me because of the expectations. I don't want to say they're low, but they're not Brian Kelly expectations. It's like, you better get to – I mean, they were both like make the playoff in a sense, but McMahon's like, you really just have to – for me, it was – because Brian Kelly did this to himself, the way that he spoke about the LSU team, what they did, how much better the roster was. We're going to go to the national championship. And it's like, okay, now that's what everybody's saying. McMahon has not said anything of that sort. He's been head down working. And so people haven't – I still also feel like people don't really have a good feel for him. Just because of, like, you have so many – you had such a demonstrative coach before him. You have so many other personalities at LSU that it's like, okay, I guess if you don't speak, I won't listen, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a bad thing, like, if that's the way he wants to go about his business, but I feel like people still don't have a real read on McMahon. It's a suit one day, it's a suit not, you know, like, he's trying, but the expectations are so, I don't want to say low, but it's make the tournament, man.
Right, that's all it is. The expectations are not high.
How many people they let into the thing?
Right.
68?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's 68 because you have the 4 play-in teams. 64 is the true field. And so, yeah, no, I mean, the expectations are not extremely high. And in the SEC, you just have to get into that top 12
How many games is that? How many wins is that, would you say? Like, how many wins got into last year? How many conference games do you play?
2024 SEC basketball rankings. Because, I mean, I really think if you can get to not 23, 24, 24, 25. Let's see. So, in the SEC, if it'll pull up here, it had LSU, I believe, they were second to last. They went 3-15 in conference, 14-18 overall. I think, like, Georgia got in, Mississippi State got in, Arkansas got in. All those teams won 8 games in conference, and had they got to about the 20-win mark. You know, so in the non-conference, LSU was 11-3, and then they go 3-15 in SEC, and that, like, abysmal. But you see teams like Arkansas, Mississippi State, Georgia, they only won 8 games in conference. Ole Miss went 10-8 in conference. Missouri 10-8. Kentucky 10-8. Like, if you get around that 9-9, 8-10 spot, and you have a good non-conference season,
you have a chance.
You have a chance.
And interesting because like I said, I don't pay that much attention to this, but Bruce Pearl, gone,
right? And
like,
Auburn,
so that's
a
crack in the door. It's his son, correct?
It is. And Auburn, I believe, had a tough game last night.
What's going to look totally different?
Right. They played last night, and they matched up with. I'm trying to remember what team it was exactly. I think it was. Let's see, where is it at? Bethune. Yeah, Bethune-Cookman.
Oh,
they played. They won 95-90. Auburn did in overtime.
Oh,
so it was they got brought to the limit last night in a matchup.
Let's see
you
the
also
comments.
saw Florida lose to Arizona last night, 93-87, which was a great basketball game. Arkansas handled Southern. Shout out to the Jags, 109-77. So, look, I'm excited to see what LSU men's basketball is going to put out on the floor. But because there's a lot of pressure. There's absolutely a lot of pressure around that program in the current situation. Brandon Hollingsworth, I want LSU basketball to be good.
Well, yeah.
But if there's even a slight chance that they could try and hire Wade back, then I hope they miss the tourney, LMAO. Look, obviously it's all speculation, but with the way things have played out, the things you've heard, I'm not going to say that it's this complete impossibility that a call to Wade could happen. My focus right now is
the season hasn't started.
The season hasn't begun yet, and if McMahon makes the run, if they put it together and they get into the tournament, it would be hard to tell that guy
see you
later if he did what he was asked to do.
Right.
You know, and so, and at the same time, NC State is a great job. Like, It's a great gig. The pressure is not as high as other schools in that state, like Duke and North Carolina. And at NC State, they've got
expectations and
they
money.
got money, and they're willing to pay. And you saw him do that in the portal this year. The race against my health. Just watching basketball for the last few years, I don't see how they could have a drastic improvement this year. Well, the way you have a drastic improvement
In basketball
is by spending $9 million on your roster and getting better players. Because better players go a long way. Like you can coach as the hell out of it as much as you want. Sometimes it helps just to have more talented players and better athletes.
There's only 5 of them.
Right.
It's hard to cover up.
If you have a disadvantage on the talent aspect, it is very hard to overcome that. But that's why the pressure falls on the coaching now. If you have the talent, now it's to coaching to put them in the right spots, have them do the fundamental things right. Because that's where I got upset with this team last season was they didn't have the fundamentals. They didn't block out. They didn't hustle at all times. They were sloppy with the ball. They weren't crisp on offense. Like they turned the ball over a bunch. They didn't block out and rebound well. And you've seen McMahon go get players to solve that. Nwoko and Sutton. Nwoko is a great rebounder. Sutton is tall. They had one of the tallest lineups in the country lineup in that exhibition against UCF. And then on the turnover standpoint, you go and get a point guard. But what are you going to do after that? Because to me, one thing UCF didn't do very well against LSU was in the second half when LSU found success. It was because they kept running the screen and roll, and UCF never adjusted to DJ Thomas off the pick and roll, ever. Like it was easy, and teams are going to adjust to that. They're going to double him. You've got to do things outside of DJ Thomas to find success this season. So I'm excited to watch LSU men's basketball tomorrow night, LSU women's basketball tonight, and talking about expectations for men's basketball. They're much higher for Kim Mulkey and her team as back-to-back Elite Eights or farther in the tournament, as they won the Natty in 2023 and then followed it up with back-to-back Elite Eight appearances. The expectations are right there, and they're going to be in the mix for SEC tournament, SEC championship, national championship once again, because that's what Mulkey does, and that's who LSU women's basketball is under her direction. And this team is extremely talented, and I'm excited to watch them play basketball. When I talk about my excitement for men's basketball,
it's more optimism than
right,
excitement, and this is expectations.
Like this should be a very good basketball team. Like simple as that. You have talent. You've got a really good mix of guard play and size. And I'm telling you, this freshman class is very exciting. Like Hines, Knox, Johnson, Barrage, like talent. There's a reason it was the number 1 class coming out of high school. It's because they're really good. And I've liked the way they've been used through the exhibitions, and I'm excited to see what it looks like tonight. So LSU basketball joins us here as we're going to get into LSU basketball season. And hopefully you guys that love football stick around and listen to us talk about basketball as the season rolls on. But this morning, I think it's about time to close it out with some athletic. This man.
He looks so comfortable.
This guy. He's bundled up.
Watch the ball.
Absolutely.
Not even to stand up. No chance.
What? Cough that cake up. Huh?
God damn it! All right, I want the cake.
We'll run it again.
Uppies. Up. Is that teasing this man? Give him his cake.
What's your round? Run the route again. I love him as much as he
I want the cake, all right?
He made my life tough for a long time. Love that man. He's not coming out of retirement. Look at that guy.
I don't know. He might be enjoying his last days before.
Give me that cake. This is the last time I can have any.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, savings. Look at that man. That's not a man that wants to come out of
I
retirement.
don't know if his eyes were open.
If that's the life that I'm living, I'm not going back to coach
Oh.
24/7. I'm going to sit in that recliner,
I mean,
bundled up, and
he looks like he's a part of the chair. He couldn't be more form fit to it.
No, well, he
I'm sure you
was
know.
on purpose.
Yeah, it looks great.
He does. It
Also, looks like a retirement home.
quite the life. Shout out Lick. Shout out Nick.
Well, then you
Miss Terry said, "Get up."
get up. Then you have the report by who was it? Rick Neuheisel that said LSU offered Saban $100 million over 4 years, and he may be doing. This might be the contract. Okay, give it.
Okay, 25 million.
Yeah. Give me.
Cough it up.
We'll see.
But
I thought that was I mean, that's not put out on accident.
no, not at all. There's no in the Saban household.
Nothing is an accident.
Everything is on purpose.
Yes.
Just like his press conference. Everything
Regimented.
he says, he knows what he says.
Every question that is asked. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm about to get into it.
But no, shout out to Nick. He's living it up.
Load it down.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I'd be doing the same just like this.
Yeah.
Just like this.
We'll
I'll
see.
put in my time.
Yeah. I mean, he has nothing to prove. The only
Sit back and then do game day.
I do wonder if he does. I mean, competitors compete.
Of course. He definitely misses it. Like,
Yeah, it was the best there ever was.
he definitely misses doing that because
You can't show Wired Earp a handgun and him not go, oh.
That's the reason, right? That's the reason why I've enjoyed seeing him on game day so much because I was concerned of what like life would be for him without football. Like if he's not coaching,
He'd just be in that chair.
Right.
It's like you're concerned about everybody or when people retire.
Right.
Like from anything, it's like, this is what you did your whole life.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
What do you do? It's like, I guess nothing. Or you have Tiger Tuba Kent. It's like, I'm going to go join the band. I'm going to go be a freshman in college.
And then you see Nick. I mean, he gets on game. I mean, and on game day, he is.
Well, Pat McAfee. That's like,
it's
like introducing cocaine to somebody in college. You're like, oh, this is way more fun than I thought it would be. Oh, yeah, I can do it every Saturday. That's fine. Like I don't need Pat McAfee every day. But for Nick Saban, a little shot of life on a Saturday. He's like, oh, okay, yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they were sword fighting with the little stick on for the
Dumb and Dumber
fencing.
Yeah.
So shout out to Nick, man.
It is like opening up like your grandpa.
Yeah, no, literally. That's exactly what that is.
Little fun, little rabble rouser.
Oh, you're not just some old
Quit that
man
shit.
anymore.
Yeah.
How about you cut it out?
Yeah.
Pat.
Don't laugh right now. We're in church.
We're church.
The church of me.
The church of Saban.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nick Saban, man. But I didn't think he was going to be LSU's coach before. After watching that video,
I definitely think he is now.
Definitely not.
He's resting up. Got a lot to do.
Keep dreaming, Lloyd.
Let's see. I don't know who we're gonna get, but we'll see.
We will see. That's very true.
Auburn is in the same boat.
I think they're gonna go Summerall. That's my guess. If I was gonna put in a bet.
Because I just looked at their basketball Twitter. Not great, Bob. They're not. Auburn is in disarray.
Yes.
Because they expect to be good at basketball.
And they go to overtime.
Yes, with 30 more free throws than Bethune-Cookman.
Are you serious?
Yes. They had more They had more free throws than field goals.
And you won by
5 in overtime.
And
everybody was pretty much saying that the officials bailed you out of this one. And
yeah,
a lot of people are like, I don't think I'll be watching this year. It's like, can you fire 2 coaches in a week? It's like, damn.
You can.
Auburn can. They'll fire anybody.
And I mean, did we really think?
No, it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, it was a terrible idea. Such a bad idea.
It makes you wonder why.
Why what?
Why they did that.
I don't know.
You know something. He should run for governor too, or whatever they got.
What was it? Senate? His name popped up around.
Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, the Senate seat or something.
And Tommy Tuberville is over there doing dabbling. Who's my other guy?
Paul
Feinbaum. And then who's the quarterback? AJ. The chest tattoo.
AJ McCarron.
He's running for a chair.
Nice.
Like whatever.
I mean, I guess if you're in Alabama, That's all they really have, and so it'd be like, oh, I'll vote for AJ McCarron. Of course, I vote for AJ McCarron. Got me national championship.
Definitely vote for that first lady.
2 up. What did the announcer say? Well, dads, get your son in the backyard. Teach him how to throw a football. He might end up with a woman like that.
That's one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen.
I mean, I was like 11 years old, and I was like,
Bront, put it back in your pants.
What are we doing?
He also did it for the Florida State. He's seen some stuff. He's like, there's a lot of red-blooded college, high school boys that all just filed an application to Florida State, and I can see why. Like, yep. Yeah, we all thought it.
Way to say it, perv.
Yeah, let's get back to football.
They
did show her an incredible amount of times in the Alabama. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah, it was nonstop.
It was insane.
It was nonstop.
So I mean, at some point, he was like, "I guess I'm going to talk about it." Good for you, AJ McCarron.
The Trailblazers, Dame Time, Weber State, however you want to say it, and then 0 is Damian Lillard. Nope. And then we've got
Vigor, Pep,
Zip, Verve,
the fervor.
Then you've got
Tip Out,
Kentucky, UCLA, UNC, UConn.
I wonder what this is.
There's something else with basketball.
Oh, because everything that's today.
Yep. We'll start it last night.
Yeah.
Basketball is here.
I had no clue. I'm consumed.
Consumed by the basketball.
No, by the. It's just all been very interesting around LSU.
Of course. I've got a basketball.
Do you feel like this
basketball scrimmage tonight? Central versus St. Michael's.
Do you feel like this is more or less interesting than it has been in the past? Like, because it feels like
interesting. I don't know. Stressful. Last week was.
Yes.
The second half of it. Very.
The first half was exciting.
Yes, first half was exciting. Second half was very stressful. So yeah, I would say. I mean, like when the O stuff went down, I think everyone anticipated O to get fired. I think I was more surprised Kelly got fired because it all seemed to happen so fast.
That you had to do it.
Of course, no, it was the right decision. I just didn't expect it to happen now in season.
Well, because what was the conversation? What was everyone saying? You can't do that.
Can't pay it.
Can't do it. Yes, I can.
And they did it. And so I would say it's been
because Les, was walk him out the door.
Right.
Ed, walk him out the door. Like, which one do you want me to leave from? Brian Kelly was take your shit, go. And now. And so
it has been, I mean, the last 14 days have been
something.
That's for sure.
But change was needed.
It was. That's for sure.
I couldn't be happier. Let's see if he's on here.
Hugh Jackman.
Yes, Skinny Hugh.
And then it's the girl from Game of Thrones. What's her name?
Emilia.
Yeah.
Emily Clark. Bang! Those eyes don't lie.
Skinny
Great
Hugh.
hair.
Great hair.
And he's a Broadway man now.
Yeah, he did. What was it? The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, he just did the. Oh shit! Why was there a timer? Has it always been up there?
It's always been.
Oh,
there.
okay. This used to be fun.
Since 2005, this AFC team is the only franchise to have a player total over 1,500 receiving yards a season 5 different times, and it was done across 2 different wide receivers. Interesting. Okay, 2 different wide receivers. The Bengals. AJ Green and Jamar Chase.
5 different times. I don't know. Has Jamar done it 5 times? Or is that combined?
I think combined.
Yeah.
Houston Texans. Andre and
Hopkins.
D-Hop.
Because I was going to say the Chargers, but I could only think of Keenan Allen. And I couldn't find another, maybe, but he's not a wide receiver.
I was going to say like the Colts with Reggie Wayne, and then I was like, I don't know who else. Houston, wow. Andre and D-Hop. This ACC school to a 10-0 start, number 2 ranking in the 2017 AP poll before losing to an unranked Pittsburgh team and then to Clemson in the ACC title game. What team did he play for? Was this NC State? No, this was Miami. It was Miami. Yeah. They were number 2, and then they dropped the games.
Where's Malik Rozier?
I don't know where he's at. As a senior, this 5'11" Kansas point guard won 2017. This is Frank Mason.
Whoa.
Introduced in 2019, the Telluride is a Kia Telluride, isn't it? I believe. Kia Telluride. Bang. Snacks and candy. A polar bear wearing a red sweater. Cold Treat brand that was founded in 1958. A polar bear wearing a red sweater. A Cold Treat. Like ice cream? Would that be? That's a Cold Treat?
Oh, is it a Klondike bar?
Is he wearing a red sweater?
I don't know.
What would you do
for a Klondike bar?
I don't know. Trying to get like popsicle. No. Movie theater.
Icy?
Icy. I see you. Spell iCup. That used to be my favorite joke.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I see you pee.
Yeah.
This actor.
You're a peeker boy? Keep your eyes forward.
Captain Kirk.
That's quite a lot of meat. My buddy does do the. He'll go to like a public function, like a football game. He does this at Saints games. Where, first of all, he always drops the "Who ate the asparagus," which is a great line. And then the other thing, this was in his younger days. He would do the kindergarten pee. Take the all the way to the ankles at the trough, and it's just the sight. It's like, oh god, things aren't going great when or things are really good. It's one of the two.
Bad.
It's a great move though. You walk, you're just like, oh god, I know him, but not right now.
No, I don't know who that is.
I've also seen somebody in the Superdome, you know, like where you wash your hands. I've seen somebody try to pee in that. It's like wrong place. Wrong. Everybody's hands are out. Not for you, buddy.
Oh.
What a dream. For some.
Shatner?
Yes, it is. He was also in Boston Legal. We used to watch that as a family. He was very funny.
As a family. The fourth installment of a franchise, second highest gross movie of 2008. Shia LaBeouf.
Megan Fox in Transformers.
Refrigerator scene. Yeah, this would be Transformers.
That's not a refrigerator. She leaned over a car.
That's not what they're talking about. I'm not talking about the.
Wait, I don't know the fourth one.
The fourth installment of a franchise and the second highest grossing movie.
What happened to
Oh no, it's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh, that one was terrible.
Shia LaBeouf was in that?
Yeah. It was CGI'd to hell. It was not good.
The legendary American DJ
Bangarang
won the Grammy for Best Dance Electronic Albums with Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites, and in 2013 for Bangarang. Is this Skrillex? Bangarang. Wow.
9-0. That was all you. Nice. Frank Mason.
Appreciate you guys joining us here on this Tuesday morning as we get you ready for LSU Alabama. The battle between Tingle & Co. and Hunter Hall this weekend. Make sure you join us at Golf Suites live Saturday night watching the football game. And we will be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m., and we will see you then. Later.
They have more icy flavors than you think.
They have a lot of icy flavors.
But what do you? I mean, I've never seen watermelon. I've never seen red, white, and boom. I've never seen lemonade. I've never seen Fruit Loops. I've never seen
Fruit Loops.
Yeah. I've never seen blackberry lemonade or banana. I've seen Coke. I've seen cherry. And I've seen white cherry. And I've seen blue.
Blue.
Blue and red.
Blue.
Goodbye.